Hi, my name is Mary Rooney, and this is my case study on my experience at Key Kids for the Educational Foundation Course 460. The theme of my case study is looking another step further. I believe that in order to truly help students, we as educators need to take that extra step to learn about who our students are and where they come from. To start off, let me introduce myself a little further. I identify as a 20-year-old, able-bodied, white female who is cisgender, meaning I identify with the sex that I was assigned with at birth, and I am heterosexual. I come from a two-parent home in the middle class with a family who supports me. For as long as I am able to recall, I have always identified as a white cisgender female who came from a supportive family. I grew up in Richfield, Minnesota until I was 10 years old. There, I had a very diverse class which allowed me to experience different cultures and ways of living. By growing up in Richfield, I slowly started to learn about stereotypes with race and class, especially within my own neighborhood. The summer before 5th grade, my parents moved our family out of the cities and into the suburbs. I went from going to a school where the student population was blooming with diversity to one that had a large majority of white students. In my high school, there are currently 1,585 students. 87.9% of those students identify as white. The next highest percentage is 3%, which are students who identify as either Hispanic or Latino. Only 11.7% receive free or reduced priced meals, and 0.1% are homeless. Needless to say, within my school experience, I have had very little exposure with diversity in the classroom. For my field experience for EDFD 460, I was placed at WK Elementary School in Winona. WK has a current total of 358 students, 77.4 of which identify as white. The next two highest percentages are 9.8 for identifying as two or more races and 8.1 who identify as Black or African American. 206 of the 358 students, or 57.5% of those who attend WK Elementary, receive free or reduced price meals, and according to the Minnesota Report Card, there are no students who are currently homeless who attend WK Elementary School. At Key Kids, I got the chance to work and play with a kindergarten girl. We'll call her Maisie for this presentation. Maisie, like me, is a white, able-bodied female. One thing different about us is our families. Maisie comes from a single-parent home in the lower socioeconomic class, where it is just her and her mom. Maisie's mom is sometimes late picking her up because she gets off of work at a local fast food chain right before coming to pick up Maisie. Maisie has told me that her favorite meals that she eats with her mom is either ramen or McDonald's. She gets excited when they have McDonald's for dinner because then they get to go see her aunt who works at the fancy one on the other side of town. I played a lot with Maisie during my time at Key Kids. When we were inside, we would play countless games of Uno, sometimes just the two of us, and at other times, some of the other kindergartners would join us. It was very evident that Maisie did not want to lose and didn't seem to have a ton of experience with losing. She would often become upset and quit right away when she wasn't doing good. One thing Maisie and I would talk about during the last few sessions together was the drama that Maisie was going through. Her two close kindergarten friends, we'll call them Anita and Jeremy, had just started dating. Since Anita and Jeremy had begun dating, Maisie was being pushed to the side because they wanted to spend more and more time together, just the two of them. After hearing about this, it made me think of our class discussion on how to teach gender and sexuality. Already by kindergarten, some of these students were in the mindset that if they are a boy, they will be with a girl, and if they are a girl, they will be with a boy. After hearing this, it was evident to me that based on the resources and language used, heterosexism is the norm and it is continuously being reestablished as so. For class, we read Queer Lessons, Sexual and Gender Minorities in Multicultural Education by Chris Bayo. This reading addressed that schools, like the rest of the social world, are structured by the assumption that everyone is heterosexual. It is important that within schools, it is taught to understand sexuality and gender identity. This will help for individuals to not assume heterosexuality or enforce gender conformity. In the reading by Carly Grant and Christine E. Slater, Race, Class, Gender, and Disability in the Classroom, it states the importance of teaching students about the feelings of unity, tolerance, and acceptance among people. This approach brings about positive feelings among diverse students, promotes group identity, reduces stereotypes, and works to eliminate prejudice and bias. In the case of Maisie, she's a student who comes from the lower socioeconomic status. She may not always have the nicest shoes, the newest toys, or the fanciest of lunches. No matter, it is important to create an environment where Maisie doesn't have to compare herself to others with these things, but rather she just enjoys life and plays like a young kindergartner. For Anita and Jeremy, who knows, maybe it is true love, and they are destined to be together. No matter if this is the case or not, it is important to let students decide for themselves who they choose to love. It is even more important to teach students to respect all and treat one another with kindness through their words and actions. Volunteering in an after-school program wasn't quite what I imagined it to be. It was definitely chaotic at times, but there did always seem to be a method behind the madness. Based off the journaling I did throughout my time, my initial visits to WK were ones where I didn't look to see what was behind the students' actions. To me, they just did something to do it, no further questions asked. 21 hours later, I've learned that interactions can't go surface deep if you truly want to help students. Key Kids is a great place to go and learn about students, how to interact with them, and becoming aware of how important it is to get to know them. The individuals who worked there, most of whom were Winona State students themselves, have clearly gotten to know these kids. The staff at Key Kids knew how different kids would react to situations or when someone might just need some time by themselves. By seeing this, I want to set the goal that as a teacher someday, I will get to know my students that step further and help them in times of need. I do believe that in order to effectively help students, we need to take that extra step to learn and to truly know who our students are.